Just practicing some basics. You know, it reminds me. Basics are all around us. Yet we can lose touch with them. We can lose touch with the fact that we breathe. We can lose touch with the beauty of a flower, the deep richness of a blue sky, a sunset, or the life of a person that lives in our same house. So sometimes a lot of times what I try to do is not take for granted the basics. For they were granted to me. And they are to everybody. And so getting in touch with the basics of playing, you can start to get in touch with the basics of you and your relationship with your horn, yourself in relationship to your horn, all these things. And of course the reason why is music, is art. So doing a breathing exercise to get in touch with the essence of breathing and air is great. To work on articulation and diction gets us in touch with our lip and our tongue and the whole idea of speaking and wanting to be able to communicate how we feel. So, if you're a teacher and you're working with younger players, it's an element of fun. It's an element for them to discover. And it's a chance for you to be in touch with that part of you that maybe has slipped away a bit and doesn't have the freedom that sometimes younger people can have. And if you're working with someone who's lost a bit of their freedom at a young age, music can be a great vehicle to try to help open that up. You know, some musicians think they're like therapists or great psychiatrists or psychologists. And, you know, I've been dealing with people personally, one-to-one, in a lesson situation for a very long time. 44 years, maybe more. So I do understand certain things that I see, at least when someone picks up a horn a bit. But I still wouldn't call myself a trained psychologist. So we, as teachers, we have to basically be in touch with who we are and what we're trying to communicate. Someone comes and studies with me at a certain level. Even if they're in high school, I give them a lot of musical things, but I give them as many of the technical basics they need, but infuse it with a musical approach. Like, make sure your mind and is connected to the rhythm so the music moves. So if they're working on things like that, they're still doing it with motion and fluidity. So the music has a gesture, the music has emotion, and the music is a communication. So, articulation, diction, enunciation are basic. Someone can give you things, like as a teacher, you'll give your students, well, here's a basic way to articulate and breathe. The thing is, when someone comes to study with me, I'm very aware that someone's a unique individual. So I need to see what they need according to what they think that they want. And then we go from there. Like the way I was taught to tongue is very different than the way I tongue now. Very different. So things change, and if you're in touch with yourself, which should be very basic, you'll start to feel that change is natural, change is basic to living, and you will make adaptations to the change that you'll be experiencing. So, the beginner wants the tongue. You say, use your tongue and your air, and let's hear what comes out. Then you take it from there with as little tension as possible, and having the discipline and the regularity of their practice be the structure for their discovery. So it's just not have fun with no structure. You wouldn't have a baseball game. Free-for-alls are fun, but having a structure and finding how that structure, which is actually a vehicle, works when you're alive in it. So, the older I get, my tongue is getting tired. So I just do a lot of simple tonguing exercises, sometimes out of a book, and sometimes I just make them up, and I just keep tonguing till my tongue gets a little bit tired. Then I take a break. What is that called? In between short and long. It's kind of a midway point, and I'll tongue like that, and then sometimes I'll tongue legato for that long, or tenuto for that long, to build up some endurance, because that's one of the things that can sometimes go when you get a little older. So basically, keep it up.